Grow or die. And I'll choose grow every time.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
Whenever a truth is heard, there's no going back. You are the main character in the video game of life.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim we worship.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
It's all dualistic.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down.
Yay!
1 second, bro. What's going on? You didn't do the thing very well. Anyway,
No,
so
I didn't.
if you watched last week, we have Ben back. It's going to be a great fucking episode. We're going to get into a lot more. We're going to touch on what we did last week. But before we do that, don't forget to go to phoneboothpodcast.substack.com, where you have 8-9 podcasts. You got the Phone Booth Podcast. You've got the Philosopher King. You've got Here's the Thing. You got the Pick Is In. You have Fasting Fake. Detoxing the Matrix. Translucid. Dualistic. And what was left?
Mind of Madness.
So go over there, check that out. There's tons of free shit. There's some paid shit, a lot of that too. $5 a month. Go behind the wall if you want extra stuff. Don't forget to check out our merch store where, go ahead, Vince. You're better at doing the Australian and all that.
Yeah. Check out the Australian shirt specifically. I don't know why, but that's the one. Check that one out. It's upside down and everything. It's great. And this one is great too. And the one, where's the robot? We don't know if it's here, right? But the one that says a Terminator is gonna kill you, and
It's there.
And the guy said like, "Grok, is this true?"
Yeah. Right.
Is this? I don't know if it's a big one here. Anyways, Grok, is this true that the Terminator is going to kill me? And then go to canambullion.com, canambullion.com for you to find your gold, silver, platinum bars and coins and all that stuff.
Bullion.
Silver's
Also bullion.
Oh, yeah, you can get bullion. And then silver is down. Gold is down a little bit. So hurry up. Get it right now. Canambullion.com. Go there.
All right. Here we go. I don't even know what the hell we're going to get into this time, man, but it's going to be fun. What up, Ben? Welcome back, bro.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
I see you.
I see a little blank face. Okay, as long as you guys see it.
Oh, so you don't see yourself now.
No, the program's being weird, but as long as you guys can see me, we're good. I think my computer might just be weird. It's all good. So, gentlemen, I have come here to kick some ass and drink some raw
Chew
milk.
gum.
Yes.
I'm actually not out of raw milk. I have about half a jug left. So as soon as I'm done with this, then I'm going to only be kicking ass. But for the time being, we're going to be doing both. Super stoked to be here.
Just don't cross state lines, then you'll get in trouble.
Exactly. I'll go get arrested for drinking some actual food.
So earlier, we were talking a little bit about how many people is there on Earth, really? Really. And within that, how many people have souls? That too.
Oh, yeah, that part.
That's
too.
another weird one. Orphan trains, all that weird stuff, incubator babies.
How many
That's
are
that's an interesting
NPCs
one.
within
Cabbage Patch
the
Kids, the
Yeah.
whole thing.
within the actual number? How many are truly souls?
It started because I said that I don't think there's, what is it, 8 billion they say? 6 billion? I can't even
I don't even
track
let me
at
look
this
right now,
point.
actually. It's something like, I think it's like 7 billion. What is?
Yeah, split the difference. It's right.
But do you guys think that
8.3 billion is
There
the
you go.
official number?
Yeah, but do you guys think that they've said that number because they want to push the climate scam? Oh, there's too many people. The Earth is warming up.
I think it helps all of it. Yes, it goes along with the whole globe theory. It goes along with everything because scarcity, that's part of the globe thing. There's nothing else. This is all we have.
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
blah. So now there's 8 billion people. Oh my God. Overpopulation. I shouldn't have kids. I probably shouldn't have kids. You know, I should conserve because there's starving people in China, all this stuff. Like, I'm not saying there aren't people suffering. I'm just saying I don't think there's that many people. That's a lot of people, man. A lot.
So this is one I haven't studied super hard, and sounds like you, Ted, have. So I asked before, and I'm curious, like, if you had to take a swing, what do you think the real number is? But maybe before you even go there, like, what's the context for why you're doubting this?
Well, because one, we know the rulers wanted to keep us below 500 million, which is in the text or the Georgia Guidestones.
Yep.
They said it. So we know they're in control. So if we believe they're in control, would they really let that happen? We know that they've been doing things to kill us off for a long time. Vaccines, all kinds of weapons, all these things, birth control, Planned Parenthood, all of
5G
that. They
towers,
want to keep, they want to keep the
chemtrails.
numbers down, all of that. They want some people's numbers to rise and others to drop, but that's a different discussion we'll get to later. But they want the numbers to drop. So that coupled with the fact that they use a lot of these things in order to push the global warming narrative, which is nonsense. And when you actually look, I forget her name. There's a lady who was born in China. Maybe her parents were born in China. Vince, you might be able to find it. It would be great if you could. And I don't just go by the information. I'm going to say she was talking about, I may have even posted it, so you may be able to find it there. But anyway, she was talking about the confirmed population in China before they switched to basically the honor system when it was like a census and all that, which then it's manipulatable. And then she went through the math that it would take in order for just the population of China to get to where it is today. And basically, just like the 6 million number, it was impossible for these people to have that many babies in that short of a time in order for China's population alone to get there. So if
I remember
that's
that
way
clip. I saw
off,
that too. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So if that's way off, imagine that applied across the whole world. Them using the census thing in order to manipulate numbers in certain areas, and both parties are doing it, and all these people. Like, I don't trust any of it. And there's huge parts of this country that nobody lives in. Nobody.
Yeah.
All those flyover states,
It's
there's
so empty,
nobody
actually.
there. It is. And there's millions and millions of acres of national forest, which is just places you can't go, meaning there's shit there they don't want you to see, i.e. probably old civilizations and shit like that.
Oh, you think so? In the national forests?
I absolutely
Or like
think
proof
so.
of them, or actual civilizations? Just
I
old pyramids
think
and
that
stuff under the
that's what I
gorge?
think. There's old
Okay.
shit there that they don't want, underground stuff, all that kind of stuff.
You know,
Dude,
I've said
there's
I'll
so
go.
many just remnants of ancient things everywhere. Like from the traveling I do, I have a whole new set of eyes for this. Just looking around and thinking when things look peculiar. And when I was in Mexico, in Chiapas, for example, oh man, there's multiple little hiking adventures I went on around this part of southern Mexico where there's just such clear signs of a previous civilization being there. Like there's this hike that me and my friends went on in the forest. It's a really cool little walk where it's got like a giant cave and forest all around it and a river going through the cave. And it's called El Arcotet, I think. It's near San Cristobal. And everywhere you look, there are skull-shaped things just in the rocks. And in the cave itself is shaped like a freaking skull. The opening is like a gigantic skull shape. And when you go inside, there's skull-shaped rocks everywhere. But it's not like perfect. It's not a perfectly shaped skull, but it looks just enough to where it's that's weird. They all look similar. There's something going on here. And the next weekend, I went to another hike just out in more of the fields and more out in the open air. And our tour guide that we had with us, kind of showing us around, pointed out a place that looks like a pyramid under grass and trees. Like there's a hill sort of off in the distance that looks like a perfect pyramid, but it's just under a bunch of brush. So these things are everywhere. And just a few weeks ago, I was in Canada, in the Badlands of Canada, and this whole place, I'm going to make a post about this at some point. I got a bunch of pictures. This place looks exactly like the meltology people are talking about. I don't know if you've looked into that at all.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
This theory that a bunch of these old ancient buildings were melted down by some crazy heat event, which who knows where that even came from. But
Hold on. Like, I think this is important because I never hear people talk about meltology. I hear them talk about Tartaria, all that. Vince, can we find some pictures of this maybe? Can we just Google meltology and they'll say it's a crazy conspiracy theory? Look at these pictures, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's a step beyond, oh, they built all this with hammers and chisels. Like, if you look at some of the things in the old sandstone that were carved in, it's insane. All of that's insane. But this is like those structures, but then they look melted. They look like something heated them so much that the rock melted and was dripping and then cooled and solidified, and they literally look melted. It's insane.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's whole documentaries about this I recommend people look into. I think there's one that I put on my Rumble channel called Our Melted Past or something with the word melted in it. But it's basically just big slideshows of these pictures that look interesting. Where we've seen these pictures of these like cave systems and windows and doors being seemingly cut into these canyons and these rocks with, it looks like rock is melting over the top of these carved things, and people just say, oh, they carved into this rock. But what if that was actually a stone building that got melted down, and that's why it's collapsing over all these holes that we know that they built? Kind of like that you're seeing right there. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, I've seen much better examples, but this is one of it for sure.
It's here. Let me pull up, if I could do like a quick screen share. Let me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is. Let me see. I mean, I just pulled this one up. Do you see that? That's kind of example. Stuff like that where things look very similar to what they would look like if something got melted down, like this here.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
Weird,
what the fuck?
And I don't have a bunch on me right now, but it's... Oh, here's a good one. This picture is classic. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, it looks so similar. And then you got the whole underground mud floods right there. We've heard about this. But
have you ever watched John Levy's work? Do you watch
of course.
him?
I love his channel.
I was gonna say, dude.
Yeah, Grand Canyon here. See that? See it? That looks very similar. And there's all kinds of connections between Egypt and the Grand Canyon, which is fascinating.
I was going to ask you about that. That's one of the next things I was going to ask you about. Not only Egypt and the Grand Canyon, but a lot of theories about that. Again, I don't care if the Bible's true or not. Doesn't matter. The stories in the Bible actually taking place in America. Like Moses parting the Red Sea was the sea between California and the mainland. Let's get rid of that. California and the mainland, and he parted that, whatever. And a lot of other things, because California clearly used to be an island.
Yeah, the old maps. The old maps show that. Mm-hmm.
They all show it.
Did you hear about the theory that that's what the dams are all about? That the dams were basically put there to change the entire land terraform?
No, I haven't.
Oh man,
that's a lot of.
I don't know enough about that to really
dams.
go off on it, but you guys probably don't know Scott Deedles, but he's a guy who I've had on my podcast a couple of times. We love going into all kinds of this weird stuff. We have a group chat going, but essentially, a lot of these major dams across the West Coast and in California, there's this theory going around that they are basically there specifically to dry out certain parts of the land and get rid of what was originally an island, like you said, California. If you look at the old ancient maps, it used to be a big island. So these dams were put in specifically to drain out the water that used to be there. And so if these dams go down, it's going to flood everything and
Turn into
the
that
state
again.
and completely wipe it out. It'll be back to being an island, but sucks for all the people that built houses there.
And you know what's going to happen if that does happen? They're going to say global warming.
Oh,
it overwhelmed.
Yeah, they'll find a way to blame us or just blame it somewhere. But I mean, and I believe that I'll have to find this video, but I think there were a lot of other dams across the U.S. and maybe around the world. I don't know, but across the U.S. for sure that are a similar story, where the land has actually been completely changed by these dams, and they're set up to basically be able to be triggered at any time and just cause these massive cataclysmic tsunamis through these parts of the
I wouldn't
country.
put it past those motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, who knows? Something interesting to look at. Like I said, I didn't dive super deep into it yet, but it's definitely interesting, and I'd be looking at that before I decide where I'm going to go buy my next house, maybe.
That's what I always think is funny, that all the people preaching about global warming and sea level rise, they all own houses, beachfront houses. Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, I got another funny picture
Obama, Al Gore, all of them. It's like, come on.
here.
why would
See, do you guys
that?
see this picture? Like, these examples of these obviously unchanged coasts all over the world.
Oh, did you change the?
Yeah, you got to click a new
Oh,
tab.
share the
It's
tab
the
instead,
Grand
I'm sorry.
Canyon thing. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
And all over the place. And people are sharing their own pictures in all these threads too. Of, my great-great-grandmother or whatever walked on the same exact beach, and she told me about being on the same beach. And through many generations, things have looked the exact same. And there's super old pictures that show this, and it's stupid to think that it's rising.
Let me ask you guys one maybe stupid question. You know, when they put these big ass oil boats on the ocean, like the more they put in the ocean, shouldn't it rise eventually?
Oh, you need so many of them.
I think it's like a drop of water in a lake. Like, it is technically rising, but it's so minuscule because it's probably only 30 feet below water at the biggest ships, and like that's not a lot in the grand scheme
why
of
I was
things.
thinking
with
about it?
moving.
Because I was thinking about Trump saying, you know, how they destroyed the Navy of Iran. He was like, there's like 140 big ass boats in the ocean now.
I mean, technically, every time someone steps in the ocean, the mass of their body displaces it and technically raises it. Yes, so you're right. It does do that. But like,
I heard that when your mama goes into the ocean, it's actually noticeably higher.
That's the real climate change. Yeah,
I love it. I fucking love it. Woo! So while we're go ahead. I got it written down.
I was gonna go into some deeper shit that you posted, Ted, but before that, you say what you.
You gonna remember it?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you real quick about how we were on oceans and all that. So when people ask you about tides, I know what I say, but I want to know, when people ask you about tides, what's your answer to them?
Yeah, this is a great
question. And what do you think tides are?
I love this because this is one of the things I was trying to bring up to my lovely, wonderful, but completely normie parents who are full globers and full believing everything.
Yeah.
All the science. I was just talking to my dad because my dad follows the tides. He understands like how the water moves up and down, how there's 2 bumps per day. Like, you know, it's high, low, high, low. It does that twice. So what I was asking him was, okay, so we know, according to the official model here, the moon is what causes the tides. The moon is pulling the tides up. The gravity of the moon is pulling the tides. So why do we get 2 different waves when the moon only comes across the sky once? And we couldn't get anywhere with it's just like you run into a brick wall. It's like, oh, it's because this and that, but it's not the moon. The moon is not causing the tides. I personally think it has nothing to do with the tides. Some people may say like something to do with the electrical charge between the sun and the moon could be changing that. I know there's some theories, and maybe I'm not
Yeah.
sure what you'll say. We'll see what you think. But for me, I think that the main driver of the tides is something happening at the North Pole. Something up there in the middle of this realm.
The
is-
breathing of our realm, basically, the in
Like-
and out from Rupus Negra, that area.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. And there are just so many incredible examples of our world just being a macrocosm of the human body. It is so fascinating. I'm sure you guys have seen those compilations of how our eyeball looks exactly like how
Yes.
we view the North Pole is, like where you have the dark part in the center with a dome over the top, and how our lymphatic system looks exactly like tree roots, and how our the little our fingerprints look just like tree rings. All these things, when you put them side by side, it's like we are so connected with this world. Like we are designed to be part of this world, and we mimic it in a lot of ways. Our body works just like it. And so, like you were just alluding to there, I think that an extremely well hidden conspiracy here, which is the cause of the tides up in the North Pole, which is the heart of the world. Like that is the heart and the center of our world. I think that there is some sort of vortex there that pulls the water in, pulls the water out, pulls it in, pushes it out, like a big whirlpool or something. And I mean, that's a super fascinating thing to just speculate on and think about, because we haven't seen it. We don't know. We're not allowed there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my guess. I think it's something in the North Pole, and it pumps in and out twice a day, and that's what causes the world's tides.
Two things to that. One, if you want to really throw people off who talk about it's the moon's gravity, ask them why it doesn't affect freshwater. The first thing they're going to say is, once they have access to Google, is they're going to say, well, the Great Lakes are affected slightly by the tides. And then you tell them that the Great Lakes connect to the ocean through a river. And that's why they're the only lakes that do that. Because lakes are bypassed. Lakes, if it's the moon's gravity, hold on. So for people who don't know, let's just watch this real quick. This is Neil deGrasse Tyson telling you what tides are and what causes them.
The next thing I say may be mind-blowing to you. The tide doesn't actually come
What's
in
up
and
with the
out.
aspect ratio?
Oh, hold on.
There is a bulge of water, two of them, on opposite sides of the Earth, caused by the sun and the moon. And Earth turns inside that bulge. When we say the water rises and falls tidally, what's happening is we are rotating into the bulge and then out of the bulge.
So the bulge is already there.
It's already there.
And all we kind of do is pass through the
Pass
bulge.
through, and the water gets high and it gets low. So we're stuck with language from our own perspective rather than language of what's actually happening. Simpler that way to say the water goes in and out. It's simpler to say the sun set rather than Earth rotated such that our angle of view on the stationary sun fell below our local horizon.
You know, I rather take Ben's take on that shit.
Yeah.
How did we
The
ever believe that
bulge.
shit, guys? I can't believe I used to believe all this nonsense. The bulge,
He's
like
full of
shit.
the fact that he talks about a bulge at the equator, but there is no higher tides at the equator. If that was really happening, we were spinning 1,000 miles an hour, all the water would be gathered. Well, a lot of it would be gathered at the equator because it'd be pushing
Yeah.
it out. That
Yeah.
Centripetal force. But
Also, look
Doesn't
up
happen.
real quick, Vince. Just Google if you can. How large is the bulge at the equator from the tides? I hope it tells you, because Neil deGrasse Tyson says it's like 14 miles high or something like that. Like, what
it
about the
doesn't
land
exist.
masses at the equator? If the moon was really sucking them up and the Earth was spinning, they would pass. Whoosh, every day would be a tsunami. Every day.
The bulge is
27
approximately
miles. That was
27
what he said.
miles.
What? I've spent time near the equator, and there's
I know. I live
There's
in
nothing
Florida,
different.
man. We're pretty close. We're pretty close. We're not
That's
right
the
there.
bulge.
they just make these numbers up.
But look at that. Look at that. They
That's
think there's
crazy.
that large of a bulge at
Yeah,
the
we would
equator.
not be living peaceful lives at the equator if this was happening.
Yeah, that's
And
bullshit.
as we're spinning, so I don't even know how to like explain this to people. I get it, but imagine that you had like some sort of vacuum that could just lift water up, and you had a ball in it, right? And then you spun that ball. The water that was up as that ball passed through it, all of that land would be covered in a 27-mile bulge of water. This is what your model dictates is true. Listen to this.
We should ask Craig about this one later. Yeah.
Oh my God. I just don't get it. And again, like you said, like I never even delved into it too much, but you kind of had to believe all this to believe the globe. And it's like, how did I do that? This is insane thinking right here. Insane. Look at all that place across the equator and then think of a 27-mile high bulge of water.
And just like you said, you can talk to 100 people on the street, and 95 of them will be Globers. Maybe a few of them will be asking questions, but none of those 95 will have any idea what any of the speeds are of the spinning that's supposed to be happening. Yeah. The 27 miles is supposed to be at the equator. The craziness about the stars, of how the reverse engineering they do to tell us why the stars have never ever changed in 6,000 years, but they just say that the North Pole is facing Polaris as it's spinning in these 5 different directions. But when you look at the actual animation of the heliocentric model, it's corkscrewing and flying all over the place. But this Polaris is in the same place forever. Come on.
It's not just even down to the simple facts that we supposedly go around the sun one time in a year. So nighttime, 6 months apart, should be facing the opposite direction of the sun.
Totally different stars.
Should be completely different stars every time. It's not the same stars every night. They just shift a little bit. They just shift.
Now, I was going to ask you about that, because this is something. So I posted a video of a guy explaining that exact concept using a big ball. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I'm gonna. Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna pull up.
Excellent. Pull that up, because I want to talk about it. Some people came back with the snarky dumb points. I actually didn't know how to fully rebut them, so maybe you guys will be better than me. Let's see it.
Every day, but it's also going around the sun at the same time. You catch that's what they tell us.
At the beginning, could you start over? Because the whole thing's pretty good.
So the Earth is spinning every day, but it's also going around the sun at the same time. You catch that's what they tell us. That one spin is one day, and then a full spin around the sun is 1 year. Okay? And so here we are, January 1st, right here. And when it's daytime, we're looking at the sun. The sunlight is coming from here. So the sunlight is lighting up the Earth this way. And then when it's nighttime, you're looking out this way. You're looking out at outer space this way, okay? And so you're seeing the stars that are out here, this direction, because it would be impossible to see the stars over here because you got the sun in the way, right? Okay. Yeah. All right, now it's springtime. So we're over here. And now that it is springtime, say April 1st, and we're looking at the sun, daytime, we're looking this way, and then at nighttime, we're looking that way. All the stars at this side of the universe. And now let's go a full 6 months. So it's like July 1st, June 1st, July 1st, now we're on the other side of the sun, right? And so daytime, it's lighting up this, and then it goes over to nighttime. Now you're looking at that side of the universe, right over here. A whole new set of stars, right? Because, 6 months. It took 6 months to get to the other side of the sun. So it should be all new stars, right? All new constellations. No, it's not. The same stars, constellations, and planets that you see over here 6 months later are the exact identical stars, constellations, and planets. How is that possible? Because when you're over here, you're looking at this side of space. And you can't look over here because the sun's blocking it. You can't look that way because the sun's blocking it. And so 6 months later, supposedly you're on the other side of the sun now. And now you're looking at that side of space. How are the stars and constellations and planets on this side identical to the stars, constellations, and planets on that side? It makes no sense because it's a lie. I mean, hopefully you stuck with me there. And there's so many things.
Oh, no, he's going to go into more. We can play the rest.
things, like so many little things like that where it's complete nonsense.
Well, he's gonna.
It makes no
gonna say
sense
who they are.
whatsoever because it's all a lie.
No, he won't.
And why? Like, why would they lie? Ultimately, it is to hide your divinity. It is to hide that you are a divine child of God. To hide that you have a soul. To hide that you are the center of the universe right now. To hide that there is a God. There is a creator. To hide that the truth. The truth of who you are. The truth of where you are.
Okay,
Such a good demonstration. I love it.
It's a great one, but when I watched this, I was disappointed that he didn't bring something up, which, if you didn't think of it, I'm getting ready to blow your fucking mind.
Do it.
So imagine that we didn't, well, we don't, but I'm saying in their model, imagine that we aren't orbiting the sun, right? So every 24 hours, we're on the same side of the sun, just like it is in our reality. It's noon, 24 hours, 24 hours,
Yep.
right? If we're staying in that constant rotation, right? So daytime's on the right, nighttime's on the left, daytime's on the right, nighttime's on the left. If that continues in a 24-hour rotation, daytime's on the right, nighttime's on the left. When you get on the other side of the sun, daytime would not be on the right.
We will flip.
Daytime would be on the left. So every 6 months, night and day should change if we're actually orbiting the sun. Should they not? Am I crazy? And the way that they explain that is like, well, that's why we have a leap year and days aren't exactly 24 hours. They're 24 and blah, blah, blah. You can't tell me that changing the calendar date every 4 years fixes that. It does not. So I want to know what the answer to that is, because if it was literally, think about it, 24 hours, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You go around the sun, right side should be daytime again, 24-hour spin, but now it's nighttime. Every 6 months, day and night should change, but they don't. I cannot reconcile that in my brain. I don't know how to.
Should do
Anybody?
a video on that. Yeah, you should do a video
I might
on
need
that.
a little. It's a little. I've lost you a little bit there, but I think if you drew it out, illustrated it, then I'll get it better.
Okay. I think I can figure it better. How about
That would
this?
be a good video. Like for me, so
I got a
Yeah,
globe.
bring
we
up
go.
the ball.
right here.
Beautiful. Flip it. I think it's upside down now.
Oh, is it? There's no up and down in space, bro. Don't you know that? So here's the globe, right?
Yeah, that's the sun.
When we're right here, so we're all orbiting the sun. Sun's
The
over
light
here,
is
right?
coming.
The lighter's the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So the Earth's spinning 24 hours. It goes in a full circle, right?
Yeah.
That's how we have day and night. But so say this point is daytime because it's on this side. 24 hours, it spins around, it's daytime again. But if the Earth is spinning consistently as it comes around the sun,
Now it's the opposite.
it would be that direction that would be daytime now. But the sun's on this side. How does that work out? I don't understand how that works out. I don't know if that helped. I don't know if
You
that
should
helped.
make a video. Yeah, you should
I'm
make
gonna-
a video
I
on
guess.
that.
I'm gonna
I mean-
make a video and try to do it, but like
Yeah.
it's so. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it, man. I don't know how to
The
explain
direction.
it. But like,
I get you. Like everyone's so. This is what's fascinating to me as I go down this rabbit hole too, and I'm sharing content the whole way. There's certain things that just resonate with certain different people, like different points. Like for me, I see what you're saying, but like for me, the star thing is like bing, 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 bing.
Oh, yeah.
Red alert, red alert. Like that is to me the one that is like there's clearly something wrong here with the stars. If we're seeing the same stars all year, and for your thing, someone else could really resonate with that. A great example is the flight paths.
Find a
Like
way.
when people look at the
Find a
flight routes. For me personally, that was never a super strong one that really stopped me in my tracks. But for a lot of other people, when I posted a video of that, and they're like, "Oh shit, okay, this is actually." I'm going to start researching more. So I'm like, okay, awesome. Like there's different things for everyone out there. There's so many inconsistencies. You can just take your pick on which one fits with your brain, basically.
I'll show you. I'm gonna make a video because I
Do
feel
it.
like a lot of people overlook this one, and it's so simple to me that I feel like that's why it gets overlooked, because it's like, yeah, 2 + 2 is 4, you fucking idiot. Like, but when you look at it in this, 2 + 2 is
No,
not
but
4.
you got something there because the light is coming from this direction and then it comes from that direction. That should change something if we're on a spinning ball, for sure.
I'll show you. You'll see it when I show you.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that. I'd love to see it. And so the question
New
I
mission.
had while we're still on this guy's video that we just watched
Yeah.
was, I mean, obviously most of the skeptical comments are just stupid, but one of the things that some people said was that there actually are some stars that are more visible at different times a year, and some constellations that are more visible. I don't know enough about the stars to really
more
about that.
visible,
Like-
yes. And again, this is why. So, a question I'm sure you get a lot, which a lot of people run away from. And again, I think if you break it down to its simplest thing, is why can't I see Polaris from anywhere in the world if the Earth is flat?
That one's easy to destroy. Yeah.
Yeah, so it comes out the same way. Like, yes, you're going to see if there's a firmament rotating. Like, yes, wherever you are in the world at certain times of year, it's going to be easier to see certain constellations because they're closer. Once they move around and you're looking through moisture, all the air, it's a further distance. Yes, they're going to be harder to see, and they're going to appear lower on the horizon because that's how it works. When things are further away, they drop in your horizon. So, yes, and if they are far enough away, you won't be able to see them at all because at a certain distance, air becomes opaque because there's moisture in the atmosphere. All of that happens. That's why, why can't I see the Eiffel Tower from New York? Well, you're dumb. Pull out your weather app and it tells you the visibility today is 14 miles, perfectly clear. Because you can't see forever because there's water in the air and you can't see through water, just like you can't see the opposite end of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Even though the water's clear, you can't see light that far. Light is not infinite like they try to make us believe with these ridiculous distance to stars and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try to keep on hand just a video that explains the whole Southern Stars thing because everyone that lives in the South drops at least one reply per day on my Flat Earth post that says, why can't I see Polaris? And like you said, it's just too far away. It's out of your perspective. You can't see infinitely.
Yep.
But just to maybe ask my question a little bit more clearly, when it comes to the seasons, are there certain constellations that you can see better in certain years and certain places or certain seasons? Because I know for a fact that I can see Polaris in the same place because I'm in the north every single day, every single year. Thousands of years ago, they've been looking at the same spot if you're in this place that I'm at. So the Polaris is always there. I need to study the constellations themselves more and how they change through the seasons if they do. Like, because I'm not 100% sure about how I need some sort of animation that shows me that, so I'm better at arguing.
I hate to even bring it up because I don't want to sell someone else's app, but do you have the Flat Earth Dave's Sun Zodiac app?
I should get that, honestly.
So on it, there's literally an image that it shows. So the constellations take 1 year to go around, and when the moon goes around, and the constellations actually lap the sun by a little bit because the sun takes longer. But yes, the constellations do move, so when they're on the opposite side, it's harder to see them. But they repeat every single year. If you go out and you look at something, take a picture of the sky on this day, on this year, and then you go out that same day the next year, the stars are in the same place. So yes, they move around, but they come right back. So yes, in different seasons, but it's just like a second hand on a clock, a minute hand, and an hour hand. Like they all come back to the same place. They're just moving at slightly different speeds. So yes, every year they come back to the same exact place. Every year.
That's something that for listeners, I'm still learning about all this stuff too. We're all relatively new to this whole thing. I'm only like a year in to really, less than that, honestly.
He has a great animation of it where you can turn on the sun and the moon or the stars, and it shows you their rotation pattern and the phases of the moon as it goes around and how it's always a new moon when it's near the sun, which is weird, I
should get this app because I had him on my podcast and he talked about it, and I just never got around to it. But this definitely sounds like a valuable resource to be able to visualize this stuff.
When I first started my Twitter account, that's where I got like 90% of my content from. And then I veered off that and just started creating more of my own and finding more of my own from other places. But it's a plethora of information.
Cool.
And even the animation thing is great.
But
Awesome.
the community
I'll take that.
guideline says the video claims we see the same constellations year round, but visible constellations change seasonally due to Earth's orbit around the sun. Anyone can observe this, e.g. Orion is visible in winter but not summer in the northern hemisphere. That's the community guideline on that video.
Yeah, but it is still visible. It's just lower in the horizon. A lot of people, just like no one should ever be able to see any single planet that's closer to the sun than us, because that would mean that it would be daytime and you wouldn't be able to see them. But people have photographed Mercury. So how do you do that when it's facing the sun? And they're like, oh, well, it's really low in the horizon. That doesn't make sense to me because it's closer to the sun than you. So it should always be on the sun side. So you shouldn't be able to get any pictures of it, any amateur, like NASA will fake it. We use this, blah, blah, blah. But you shouldn't be able to do that at all if it's always in the daytime because the sun should wash it out. You shouldn't be able to see anything.
But dude, the thing that is even more important than what we're speaking about here is the video you posted, Ted, today. And Ben, I don't know if you've seen this, but how they have technology to literally read your mind, write to your mind, thoughts. They can write thoughts into your mind. Have you seen this?
Nothing could go wrong with that. No, I haven't seen it.
Nothing at
This is sick. Should I play a little bit of it?
Yeah, play it.
This is
not too long.
No, but this is important. Listen to this.
Understand the novelty and the viability of neuroscience is being leveraged as weapons. We then have the use of nanoparticulate agents, aerosolizable nanomaterials that can be breathed in and disrupt blood flow and neurological network activity, that can be used as an enclosed weapon, or perhaps that can be used as a more broad weapon of disruption and destruction. We also have the capability to utilize nanomaterials to get electrodes into a head and to create a vast array of viable sensors and transmitters. This is DARPA's N-Cubed program, next generation non-invasive neuromodulation, utilizing these techniques and technologies to create vast arrays of implantable electrodes that need not be put into the brain surgically, that are then able to read from the brain and write into the brain remotely in real time.
Advances in artificial intelligence are leading to medical breakthroughs once thought impossible, including devices that can actually read minds and alter our brains to help treat conditions like anxiety, Alzheimer's.
So that technology raises privacy concerns. That's why Colorado passed a first-of-its-kind law aimed at ensuring our private thoughts remain private.
Are earpods that can pick up brainwave activity and tell whether or not a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering. Okay, well, you might think, fine, but even if we can tell whether a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering, you can't tell what they're paying attention to. You would be wrong.
Who has access to this technology?
You know, Karen, everyone, believe it or not, you can buy devices on the internet right now that can, to varying degrees, decode your brain waves. And the technology being developed by the likes of Elon Musk, Apple, Meta, and OpenAI can change, enhance, and control your thoughts, emotions, even your memories. It's the dawn of a new era filled with promise and peril. If the at-home devices are impressive, those being used in the lab are even more so. Our brainwaves are like encrypted signals, and using artificial intelligence, researchers have cracked the code, identifying frequencies for specific words to turn thought to text.
That I just think it, and AI knows what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Because of the pattern of my brainwave.
Yes.
But with the benefits come risks.
It is some of the most sensitive data that you could possibly share with anyone.
Data insurance companies could use to discriminate, law enforcement to interrogate, and advertisers to manipulate. Government, too, could get into our heads and potentially alter our thoughts, emotions, and memories as the technology advances.
Nobody wants to live in a world where some of these misuses or abuses exist.
While medical research facilities are subject to privacy laws, private companies that are amassing large caches of brain data are not. And based on a study by the Neural Rights Foundation, 2/3 of them are already sharing or selling the data with third parties. The vast majority of them also don't disclose where the data is stored, how long they keep it, who has access to it, and what happens if there's a security breach, which is why Pazowski, medical director of the foundation...
Dude, this video continues on and becomes worse and worse. But How are we not also like computers at this point? If they can do this shit, they can write to our brain, read our brain. How are we not also computers? Just a biological one at this point. Because
Your
if they can
mom's a
do this,
computer.
yeah. Because if they can do this,
That wasn't as good as my mom joke. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh,
if they can,
not even close. But
if they can do this, it
I know,
changes everything. I thought back in the when I was not awake, I thought we humans we were something else. We weren't like computers where you can fucking scan us and shit. But dude, this is our most private area, and if they can penetrate and fuck with that, and fuck with our memory and all of that shit, then how are we not a computer?
there's another video I saw today that was like, Elon Musk talking about putting brain chips in people's heads, and MIT made this like it like fits in like a retainer, and you can just move your tongue on the roof of your mouth and like dial your phone and do whatever you want.
What?
The dude using it, like they're trying to make it look like it's a brain chip, but it's not. It says tongue to chip to blah blah blah. So it's your tongue doing it, but it's like dude's just using his tongue, and clearly they had this guy train on it for a while before he did it in the demonstration. But it's like a retainer thing. He's using his tongue, and it's like going down in his menu. He's picking this and then typing on his keyboard with it, blah blah blah, with his tongue. Like,
So when I see these videos about this, and I saw all sorts of videos about that sort of thing of how the aerosols, and this is where the whole geoengineering chemtrails part comes in, where they're saying like, what's stopping them from just spraying these little nanoparticles from the sky? And a lot of people believe they are, and have claimed to have tested their soil and their water in their home and seeing that there's weird stuff in it. And the snow is not melting properly. I'm sure you've seen those videos where people are taking a lighter to a snowball and it's just burning like snow should not burn. And it just basically, people are starting to get suspicious about what's really coming from the sky. And then comes the 5G towers. What part of those play into it? People are taking videos of those things and finding out that they seem to be firing up at certain times when the sky is the most fucked up. And they just seem to be connected with these weird weather patterns we see. Are they also connected with this sort of mission that we're seeing of turning everyone into these mindless robot slaves, like that video you can clearly allude to if you can see through the talking heads trying to frame it as a good thing. They're trying to fill us with these nanotechnologies, activate all these EMF 5G tower things to put us in a certain brain state or even crazier, implant thoughts into us, change the way our minds work. This whole thing is so dark that I kind of sometimes wonder if it's all just fear mongering, and it's just not actually happening. I don't know, like
possible,
because there are certain things out there, like the whole nukes thing.
Yes.
Like when you learn about nuclear weapons, like we have, and how they're totally fake. I'll just spoil the ending there. When you look at if you actually dig deep into what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those were just regular fire bombs. The place rebuilt in like a few weeks. Like Japanese people are so efficient. They rebuilt it back and people are living there again. So this whole story of nuclear bomb just turning the place into a wasteland of like
uninhabitable
three-legged monsters everywhere, and the water's all poison, everything's poison. That's totally made up in the movies. So that is a good example where I look at that and say, okay, so they are just making up these scary things just to lower our consciousness. So
like viruses.
How many other things could be similar where they don't actually, asteroids going to fall from the sky and kill us? That's totally made up too. All these things are made up to make us scared. So that's kind of given me a new tool in the tool belt of looking at these depressing, dark things that we see happening and wonder, like, maybe it could just be made up. It's not even true. But who knows? It's tough to say. You need a scientific background to be able to really test that stuff yourself and see what you're looking at. But it's possible.
Possibly.
If it is possible, then we just need to be banging the table on just raising awareness and cutting that shit out, because that's obviously horrific.
Yeah.
So where are you at because that kind of ties into it with me. Where are you at on the whole dinosaur thing? We may have talked about this.
Fake.
Fake. Okay. So I did this post, which. Go ahead.
I have something. No, you go ahead. Finish this thought. I have something to add after you're done.
I didn't even know this till I was like, oh, I'm going to do a post and I'm going to look it up. The first person. And literally the very first time the term dinosaur was used, they used it from a hundreds-year-old sketch from someone else who thought it was a dragon. And they're like, oh no, we're going to look at this sketch. And now we're going to say it was a sketch of like one bone. And they said, this is a dinosaur. And they created the first dinosaur from that sketch. That's insane to me. And it adds on to what we know they do now, which they find one bone and they create this whole thing. It's all plaster, all this garbage. It's ridiculous. But yeah, they just make it.
So if I could bring us back to how I was telling a little story earlier about how I spent some time living in Canada recently, and this place in the Badlands, the town I was staying in was called Drumheller, and place is covered in these bizarre looking mountains that look like melted, like I talked about, where I hiked up in the mountains and you can see like what looks like caves underneath. There's some really straight looking lines of rocks that look like they could have been breaks just up way in the mountains where there's no trails or anything. I was just bushwhacking through it. But another thing about this town is that it is renowned to be the place where the most dinosaur bones have been found. It's well known, awesome. And the whole town is obsessed with dinosaurs. Like that's their whole thing. Is that the welcome sign has a giant "Welcome to Drumheller," a huge dinosaur on it. The whole town is filled with these dinosaur statues they have. There's a gigantic dinosaur museum, and they're just obsessed with it. All their stores and shops are all named after dinosaurs. And a bunch of I met people there who have found these dinosaur quote unquote bones, and they've kept them in their possession. And when you go to the museum, I can talk about the museum next, maybe that's a whole different tangent, but there's so many weird things in one place here. But what's funny is the high school sports team mascot is the Dragons. So this is like this dinosaur town.
There you go.
Everything's covered in dinosaurs, but the high school mascot team is the Dragons. That seems like someone was trolling with that one. I don't know. Someone that knows a little more than the average person there. But yeah, so we went into I was with some friends. We went into this museum, and the first thing I asked them, of course, because I've seen all the videos about how it's, like you said, they get one bone and they turn it into a giant fake animal that they want it to be. And they were labeled all over this museum. I asked the staff there. They would label them either original, cast, or compound, some other random words. But basically it was either original or fake. And so they labeled them as original. And I was looking at all the ones that were labeled original, and it's like teeth and jaws, and some even have some of the head and some more of the body. Every single one that was original looked like it totally could have been a dragon. Like it looked exactly like the mythical art we've seen of dragons, which, by the way, there are 0 dinosaurs in any ancient art or hieroglyphics or statues or any of that stuff. There's a ton of dragons. They're everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. If you believe the mainstream narrative, you believe that these Egyptians built these fucking temples, they quarried all this rock, all these ancient civilizations, none of them found a dinosaur bone. But then in the 1800s, some English dude did. Like, come the fuck on. That's ridiculous to me. It's absurd. Vince, you look like you want to say something. What you got?
No. Keep going.
Oh, well, hold on. I sent you something on WhatsApp about the constellations. It's a 4-minute video, but I want you to play it at at least 2 times.
Let's do it.
At least.
Yeah, because this is something I need to learn more about myself, just how all this works, and that's why I'm
so
getting this app to actually explore more.
It's hard. So here's how it goes. It shows the sun. At first, it appears that the sun and the constellations are moving together. That just like when you hear, oh, we're in the age of Aquarius, we're in the age of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the sun is in this constellation. So if you look, as it goes around, it appears that the sun is moving. And also you can watch the phases of the moon keep up with reality also. But when it's at super fast speed, I'm going to speed it up on here in a minute, Vince, and then you can play it at fast speed.
Oh, this is the maximum.
Yeah, so
2 times.
you can watch. We're going to have to slow it down so you can see after. Hold on, slow it down a little bit. You can see it's in, I can't tell what that is.
Oh, this is the slowest.
The bull. So Taurus. It's in Taurus right now. So
Yeah.
watch. Now speed it up. So it looks like they're moving together, but the constellations are actually moving slightly faster than the sun.
Okay. I see.
So it drifts back into the one behind it because they're moving faster. So slow it down again, Vince. See how now it's almost out of Taurus and it's into Gemini?
This one.
See how now it's on the line? Before it was right in Taurus, now it's passing. So as it moves, the constellations move slightly faster, which the stars do.
There you go. I feel like that just answered the question I had.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to.
Exactly.
Because
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. All the different moving parts. So I understand that how the sun, moon, constellation, they're all moving individually. They're all separate at different speeds. Now
like a clock.
Exactly. It's a perfect clock. And I forget, the moon moves faster than the sun, or is it slower?
The moon moves. Where's the moon at right now?
Put
it bigger again. It shows it on here. So the moon actually, I'm pretty sure the moon moves slower because the moon goes around once every 28 days. So yeah, look, the sun's going to lap the moon. So once it gets around, look, as the sun gets close, like, okay, so look at the moon and sun as a positive and negative, right? As the positive of the sun gets closer to the negative, the moon disappears. When there's a full moon, the sun is always, speed it up, the sun's always on the opposite side during the full moon. So watch, it's going to come around. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know how long I recorded it. I might not have done that long. Maybe go back to the beginning.
From that app. I need to get this app.
Yeah. Yeah, I just screen recorded it off this app. So look, the moon's almost across. It's not full, but it would be if it was all the way across. So always as the full moon, the moon is lining up with the zodiacs that are exactly opposite of the sun.
Interesting. Okay.
Which makes total fucking sense to me if they're polar
See,
opposites.
that's the thing is once you wrap your head around it, then it makes sense. It's just so different than what we were taught that I'm still learning new things every day, like this exact thing, how the constellations move a little faster than the sun. And one of the things that to me is just incredible and blows my mind is similar to this animation you have here. When you look at the, there's a good video that Eric Dubé did just explaining the seasons, how the seasons work. In the beginning is, I think, referencing a Rob Skiba animation that Rob made, where it's just like a super fast motion of like the sun flying around and around, and showing like a lot of days really quickly, but how depending on the season, it shrinks and grows the size of its circuit. So I'm in the north, so during northern summer, it's relatively small little circle and it's going right over the northern side. And then in our winter, it's a much bigger circle because it's down in the south. It has a bigger circuit to make. And the fact that I've found people, and this is something I want to do myself, I'm adding this to my list of things I want to actually measure, is people will, you can just find a spot in the sky. If you have a horizon with little landmarks on it, time how long it takes for the sun to move from point A to point B, and it's actually moving much faster when it's in the southern summer because it has to make that whole circuit in 24 hours, and it is. It's still making it 24 hours, just moving faster in the southern summer, which is,
That's
what the fuck?
exactly why. So in the northern, whatever you want to call it, it's not a hemisphere, whatever you want to call it, in the north, when the sun is going down, it takes a long time to go from light to dark. Yeah. When you're in the southern area, it goes from light to dark in a few minutes.
Super fast.
Very quick, which proves this, which again, so think of it this way. I'm not saying this is what it is. People will attack me. Say you have a ball on a string and you're swinging it, right? I'm swinging it at this rate. Now, if you want to keep it going at that same rate as it goes out further, you got to swing harder and faster.
Yeah.
Because now it has more area to make. So the sun's keeping up with that time. It's the same time. If you're pulling that string back, it's slower. As it goes out, it's got to be faster. It's the same thing. It happens exactly like it would happen if that was reality, which leads me to believe that that is reality. It's insane to me to think otherwise. And I know, so I've turned a lot of older people onto this because one of the rentals that I take care of, there's this time of year when even under the overhang of the building, the sun's hitting you, right? In the winter, there's shade out covering the whole yard. Now, they noticed that it doesn't take 6 months to get from one point to the other. There's it takes a while and then it quickly goes the other way. And I started mentioning these little things to them and they're like, you know what? Last night I saw the moon come up over there and then it was over there tonight. That doesn't make sense to me. How does that happen? I'm like, exactly. That doesn't happen if you're on a moon that's perfectly orbiting a ball that's spinning around a sun at a perfect rate. It doesn't happen. It's impossible.
Yeah, and one of the things that, while we're on the topic of just encouraging people to just watch and use your intuition and what it looks like is happening and trusting that, one of the big points for me while I was still struggling to wrap my head around this and this whole flat earth idea and the whole different paths of the sun and the moon, how it's so different than what we were taught, was I just was watching, first of all, I was watching the sky way more, just watching the sun and moon constantly. We become obsessed with it once we realize what's actually happening. But the main thing that caught my eye was so simple, just how the sun, as it's setting, when you watch it, it's moving to the right as it sets. It's like setting diagonally down.
Yeah.
And I pull out this flat earth app I have, which is like yours, but I have a much simpler one. I think I should get Dave's, but a very simple one. And you just look at how the sun is moving around in a circle, and it has a limited spotlight. It doesn't light up the whole flat earth, which everyone, when they're a total beginner, they say, oh, if the earth was flat, the whole earth would be lit by the sun all the time.
It's because they've convinced you that light is infinite because we can see stars, so light must be infinite. Light is not. You can't replicate infinite light here on Earth, just like you can't replicate gravity. You can't. One I always like to ask people, which I hope to bring up with FDFE when we have him on, is when they say, first of all, the fact that the sun is a burning ball of gas. How do you burn anything in a vacuum? Let's get past that. They say it's fusion, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. So then they say we can tell by how each star burns what chemicals it's made up of by the way that it burns, right? So that means if I went half a mile down the road and I put different gases in a barrel and I lit it on fire and you watch the flame, would you be able to tell me which gases I used to create that flame? And the answer is no. They would not be able to tell me, but they're telling me that thousands of light years away, they can tell what a sun is made up of by the colors of the light. And that's what chemicals are inside of it burning. They're lying to you. They're lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I
want to get, one of the things I want to do, and which is actually one of the reasons why I'm here at this library that I'm recording at right now, is I just learned recently that a lot of libraries have telescopes that you can rent out and actually play with them. So I'm going to try that and see if we have any here in my local town. But I want to get some cool super zoom cameras or telescopes to play with and really just get a better look at this stuff because, that's what it's all about, is getting more data. I would love to get my hands on a P900 or a P1000 to just zoom all the way into the moon and the stars.
Hit up his Cash App, y'all.
What's that?
I said hit up his Cash App, y'all.
Yeah,
Send
exactly. Those things are just so fun to watch other people play, and I want to see it myself because I know that's going to be a huge pivotal moment in the journey of actually looking through one of these extremely powerful zoom lenses and seeing with your own eyes and finally not seeing it on a screen, as we unfortunately have to as we're watching all these videos, and just actually witness like what a star looks like super close up, how it dances and changes all these different colors. That's going to be cool.
But you see here, like it follows more of a pathway of a triangle when it rises to noon and goes down.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, Vince, do you have that other video that you shared with what's his name?
Which one?
A Globey. The one you shared, what was his name? The actual one nice Globey you had on? I can't remember.
Danny?
Yes. That you shared with him that he's like, oh, if that's true, I'm gonna have to look at that. Of the sun doing an arc. Going in a triangle pattern. Like
in the time lapse thing.
Maybe. That might have been it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can pull it up, but the point is, it should not be that straight, right? If it's like
yeah.
Go.
That's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, where you can see it's moving to the right the whole time, and when you just put that up against these apps that you show where the sun is moving in a circular pattern, it matches perfectly what we see, just right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and us being below the sun. That makes sense, but above us, it might be circling, but since we're so, like, below it, it looks like a fucking triangle. But if we could raise ourselves to its level, it would be like, more, I don't know how to
be on the same
describe
plane.
It, but
yeah.
Well, look at it this way. If a plane flies by in the sky, when it's way over there, it looks lower in the horizon because it's further away. That's how perspective works. And as it comes closer, it's right above you, and then you look down and it's over there again. It's the same fucking thing. That's how perspective works. And that's how perspective works in your flat area. When it worked that way in a sun 66 million miles away or whatever it is.
But if it was a NASA rocket launch going into space, then it makes a giant rainbow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice curve.
But if it was like what they're saying, it should be more like a, curved pathway instead of fucking like this,
Mm-hmm.
The sun.
I honestly think if it was really that far away, 93 million miles, whatever they say, it would just be a light, and if we were spinning, it would just look the same, and we would spin across it, and it would move basically like in a straight fucking line. And that's it.
Yeah. It wouldn't even. Yes. It wouldn't
And the
change.
temperature would not change as much as it does throughout the day.
Exactly.
The fact, and this is another one that people like talking about reconnecting with your senses that have been stolen from you.
Yeah.
In the morning, when the sun's coming up, sunrise, it's still pretty nippy. It's chilly outside. As it comes closer to you, just as it looks like it's coming closer and closer until it's right above your head, you're really warm. It's the warmest when it's right next to you.
And also look how the colors change. As it goes away, it becomes red. But at noon, it becomes blue and white.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it left you. It left you at sunset and at sunrise. So if you could go to those sunrises or sunsets, it would become blue and white again if you could travel to it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's leaving you or coming to you, like you said.
Yeah. It's all perspective. It
Yeah.
makes so much more sense than the stupid globe model. Like when you really just look at it and pay attention, and you got to give the whole globe paradigm some credit that they have a stupid, nonsensical answer for everything.
Yeah.
That just manages to make enough theoretical sense that it keeps people sort of stuck in that world. Because like any of these things, you can type it on Google, it'll give something to you. But it takes a certain type of brain to really be able to discern whether that something makes any sense. And another example of this is when the first experiment I did when I was just starting to learn about this stuff was the whole moon temperature test. I don't know if you guys have done that.
It's a great one.
Yeah, the shadow.
Yeah.
And maybe I could do another around here because we're almost full moon where I'm at. But I went to Google and said, hey Google or AI, how come it's colder in the moonlight when I put my thermometer out there versus the shade? And it just said like, oh, it's because of I can't remember some sciencey. There's always a bunch of sciencey words like the convection.
I'll Google it
and,
while you're doing it.
Yeah. Go. Let's look at it. Let's see what it says right now, and we'll analyze together if this makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's gonna assume that you did it wrong. If I remember correctly, it basically said, "Oh yeah, like the Earth holds some heat after the sun's been on it, so it changes the temperature around." But that doesn't explain my actual question.
Moonlight shadows feel cold primarily due to...
No, it would have to be moon. Why is the moonlight cold and the shadows warmer? It might be the same answer.
Sorry.
though.
Sure.
Why? So why is moonlight colder than shadow or something like that? Colder than shadow.
Let me take.
Yeah, let's see if that. Let's see. It might be the same thing, and it all funnels into the same bullshit answer.
Yeah. Moonlight often
there it is,
feels
radiative cooling,
Yeah.
whatever that is. The same thing. It doesn't even matter if you put it right. It's already queued up.
All right, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Where the fuck was the other answer?
Yeah, it just says radiative cooling. Whenever you're asking about the temperature of the moonlight, it just says
Radiative
cooling.
cooler.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moonlight feels colder than shadow due to radiative cooling on clear nights, not because the moonlight itself is freezing. Objects in direct moonlight have an unobstructed view of the cold night sky, allowing them to radiate their heat away faster.
You want me to do you one better with the moon again?
So for my experiment, I did this out in an open field, like 50, 60 feet away from any trees. I used this distant tree as my shadow source. So in literally the shadow area and the open area were a foot apart. They were right next to each other. So it doesn't have anything to do with this radiative cooling thing, saying that the heat is being transferred around in funny ways. They were right next to each other. One's in the shade, one's in the moonlight, and the moonlight one was colder every single time. That's all I need to see.
Also, so were you using a laser one, like a laser
yeah.
thing? So I know it's anecdotal, but if you even point the laser thing up at the sky and go towards the moon,
No way.
as you go towards the moon, it gets cooler.
What?
I promise you. I promise
So you've done
you. I've done that. I've stood in my
crazy.
yard. I might have a video of it somewhere. I sent it to Bill like 4 years ago. I literally just pointed it because I did air conditioning for a long time.
That's wild.
Lots of temperature things. I pointed it up. As you got to the moon, it got colder, and I just kept moving it, and then it started getting warmer again.
That's crazy.
So,
I didn't know that
but
would work.
also,
Yeah, if you find that video, I'd love to see that. Or I'll try it out.
yeah, just do it. Do it yourself. It'll be awesome. So also, one that'll blow your mind about the moon, you know the whole Aristophanes thing where, they use the
sticks. Yes.
So what about this? They claim that proves that the sun is 93 million miles away, right?
Yeah.
You get the same shadows from the moon. How does that work? The moon's not 93 million miles away. The moon's much closer. So if it was different, shadows would look completely different at night. Like, yes, I get there's not as much of a contrast because the light's not as bright. But it's not like when it's daytime, your shadow's this size, but at night, your shadow's fucking gigantic from moonlight or different or smaller. It's the same. Shadows are the same at night as they are in the day. That would not work if one's 93 million miles away and one's 300 and whatever it is.
It's like 240 or something, 1,000 miles away. Yeah.
That's a good point.
How does that make sense?
And
Fuck them.
while we're on this topic, another one that people can just easily look at and see, and this works for the sun or the moon, anything producing light in the sky, which they both produce their own light. What I was watching for, I think this was 2 nights ago. It was a perfect night for this, where it's a partly cloudy, moonlit night. And as the clouds pass over the moon, only a very small ring of light is being illuminated around the moon.
Yep.
And if the moon was actually 240,000 miles away, 250,000 miles away, it would be evenly blanketing the entire Earth's cloud layer with light. But we only get a small illuminated portion, which hints at the fact that the moon is actually extremely close and not
even the
thousands of miles away.
The statement, the silver lining. The silver lining wouldn't happen if the sun was 93 million miles away.
Mm-hmm.
All the clouds would look like that, but they don't. Only the clouds that are close to the sun have the silver lining. Why is that?
Now here's a question I have. Another question that I personally am not sure about is the whole debate over how far away are these things. If we're saying a lot closer, that they are a lot closer, how far away are they actually? Because when you do the crepuscular ray calculations, I know a lot of people have done this and looked at how the crepuscular rays from the sun, if you do some trigonometry on that, it aims at the sun and the moon being around 3,000 miles away, I think it was. But at the same time, we have some videos of people up in airplanes or sometimes on the ground where the sun appears to be like within the clouds and the moon appears to be within the clouds. And then if that were the case, then they're even a lot closer than 3,000 miles. So I'm a little confused. I think that they're just fucking weird. And because they are also like reflecting off of the firmament. What are your thoughts on this? Like, how far away are they actually?
If you're asking me, I don't think the sun or the moon are solid objects. I think they appear different due to the perspective of the observer.
That I completely agree with that. Mm-hmm.
So it may appear from where you're at that they're up in the clouds because that's where it's coming from, but I don't think that's where they are. Just like
I totally agree. Yeah. So it's like a projection that kind of bounces around depending on where you are, depending on your eye level, it changes where it appears to be. That's exactly what I think. It's so fascinating.
That's
These things are so bizarre.
Well, it's the personal dome of perspective, as weird as that sounds. But the way that I'm most comfortable with it is, imagine however far you can see in one direction, right? You're looking straight. Let's just call that 20 feet to make it simple. However far that is. Now, let's make it 20-foot rope, right? Now, if that's as far as you can see, when you look up, that 20 feet is the same in every direction, which would make it a dome because we're on a flat ground. So that's as far as you can see anywhere. So that's your total perspective of everything. So that's how you see everything, is in your own personal dome from wherever you are. And if there's things in the sky being projected, and to go back to the stars, what we were saying, sorry, if they're being projected, blah, blah, blah. To go back to the stars, the thing that makes me know that what they're telling us about the stars is bullshit is that they all look roughly the same brightness. Roughly. I know some are brighter than others, but they're all like enormously different in size, trillions of light years different in distance, but they all just happen to look about the same size from our perspective. Or they're all around the same area and some are a little brighter than others. Which one makes more sense?
Yeah. And do you think that the stars are also one of those things that's kind of hard to tell exactly how far away they are because they're inside the firmament? So do you think that...
I do think that they're inside the firmament. I think... I don't think they're in, beyond whatever. I think there's layers of the firmament, whatever. I don't know how to prove that.
That's where it gets weird. And that's why some of these questions are hard, because we don't know how this thing works. It's a mystery in a lot of ways. It doesn't work on the same laws of physics and science that we see here on the ground. And that's why it's hard to logically work through. And some of it's just going to be a mystery, I think, no matter how much we research it. But
we're also people who don't have billions of dollars in funding, and the people who do have that are lying.
Yeah.
So we're just left to try to... I know. And I don't know if you've heard the stories about how in Antarctica and places they've like drilled into these walls trying to penetrate, and then they come back the next day and it's frozen over again, and the fucking machinery's stuck in the wall and they can't get it out. Like, I don't know. It's okay. If there was an element that was something like that, would they tell us about it? They wouldn't.
Of course not.
If there was a regenerating element that was like ice, like water, whatever, that the firmament was made out of, whatever it was, sky ice, whatever the fuck you want to call it, frozen oxygen that's bright blue, I don't know. But if it was there, would they tell us about it? Would they be like, oh, we found a new element. It's this regenerating thing. And look, we drilled the machinery in there and it closed up behind. Like, no, they would never fucking tell us that. So we're left to conjecture of based upon things we hear and things we can prove here. And again, like you said, that's the biggest to me, that was the thing that broke me on being a flat earther or a believer in that, was that I started to realize that everything you have to believe to make the globe Earth work is something that you can't prove here on Earth.
Yeah.
They can't replicate gravity. They can't replicate a vacuum where there's an adjacent pressurized system next to it. They can't replicate fusion within a vacuum. They can't replicate any of these things. You just have to believe them. That's why there's physics, which we can all prove here on Earth, and then there's astrophysics. It's a totally different subset of reality, I guess, because none of that can be proven here. So you have to go outside provability to even believe any of this to begin with, in my mind, at this point.
Yeah, I just hit my dad with this a couple nights ago since I'm visiting family. It's fun to just throw these little tidbits and see how they react. Just like you said, what I brought up was how the moon is supposedly the only sphere in the known universe that can light up from edge to edge when you shine a bright light on it. Because, and this is another experiment anyone can try, is shining a light on a sphere on any ball. You can go out in a garage and shine on a basketball, and you're going to see that you're going to get a specular highlight on the closest point that the light is hitting, and it's going to dim out as it goes out to the edges. And at the very edge is going to be dark. It's not possible for your light to light all the way from edge to edge, let alone extremely bright and uniform like we see on the full moon, which is supposedly from the sun. And that's impossible.
So I've posted a video of an artist that they weren't a flat earther. They're an artist who learned shading and this and that. And they break down how it's impossible for that exact thing. It's impossible. I'm going to have to look at it in my stream and probably artist. I can find it. But it's long, but he breaks it down from every angle. And all the comments are just like ridiculous shit. It's absolutely absurd.
Knowing that that's proof right there.
Yeah. But also, the other thing is a sphere does not cast a perfect line shadow on another sphere. We can't replicate that here on Earth. If you have a ball... Yeah, so if you have a ball and they claim that it's Earth passing in front of, causing that, it doesn't go in as a perfect curve and go out as a perfect curve. That does not happen. And he breaks that down in the video too. It turns into an S thing. It like gets all wonky and goes like S shape, and then at the end it comes back. It does not look like what they tell us at all, just like the impossible eclipse, which is the selenial eclipse or whatever, that doesn't make sense because the shadow comes from the top. But if it was Earth causing it, it would come from the bottom. Like, all of these are impossibilities in the globe model, and they literally call it the impossible eclipse because it shouldn't happen on a globe, but it does happen.
I'm bringing up videos right now that you brought up eclipses because this is something I've actually been imagining. A bunch of people have been telling me that I need to start making more of my own content of just like short form, like TikTok stuff. My buddy Cameron Thomason, I'm not sure if you know him. He has Holistic Health Nut as his handle, but he's been killing it.
I know that name.
You'd recognize him. He's killing it on the Flat Earth posts on TikTok and Instagram. He's got hundreds of thousands on both of those. And we became good buddies, just kind of just bantering about all this stuff. And I had him on my podcast as well. But so this is one of the things that I know I'm going to make one of my first videos about because it is so blatantly obvious that something weird is going on here. And it's so easy to tell if you can just look at it. And it blows my mind how I made posts about this on Twitter, just showing this raw video I'm about to bring up. But people are just not seeing what we are seeing. It's like they just aren't seeing the same thing. And so this is why I need to. I'm going to start putting doing that annoying thing where you have your face in the corner, like look at this, pointing.
Hey
at
man,
it.
I had to start doing it too. I've done a few videos like that.
Yeah.
I had to because people pay more attention to those, even if they're just like, look at this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like they pay attention.
Exactly. We love to laugh at it, but it literally works, and there's more leeway for us to like actually point out specific parts of it, like what I'm about to show you. So,
yeah.
I just pulled it up. You guys see the sun here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's crazy how people do not see what's going on here. Okay, and pause. Is there anything weird about this, folks?
Yeah, where's the other part?
Weird at all? How about
the
right
whole
here?
hue around the outside that you can still see the hue and the light of the sun, but you got the perfect fucking curve cutoff there.
If this is
which
the
is
moon,
it
yeah,
should
where's the
be-
rest of the moon?
line.
Yeah, it should look like the rest of the sky. That's all it should be, is the same color as the whole background, just there.
It should. I mean, there's even videos out there I've seen of people recording during this. What is this? I always forget the stupid thing. The solar eclipse, and they can see the moon completely on the other side of the sky. And they're saying, "What the heck is covering the sun? Like, what's going on?" It's like a bunch of, globe people who are starting to ask
K2
questions.
and Ratu or whatever? It's one of those, the black sun.
So, but
I don't know
right
what it
there,
is,
they're realizing, what the hell's going on, because I can see the moon over there, and it's supposed to be covering up by the moon. So, that's one. But the lunar eclipse is just as weird. So I'm going to switch over to this one. So let's pull this up. Let's see what we're finding here, folks. Okay. So direction of the shade is moving up. Okay, is going up
what
in
the
that
fuck?
direction.
Yeah, now watch.
And completely changes directions completely.
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me? And this is not some flat earther video. This is a time lapse. Like, go to YouTube. You can watch any of these.
Yeah.
So let's watch it again. Pay attention to the direction the shadow comes over the moon. It's coming from like the bottom left up to the top. So imagine what way it would be coming if it was natural. It completely changes like 90 degrees. So, and not only that, but it pauses there for a second. So if this was the Earth's shadow, it would immediately start, like right after it passed by, it would immediately start doing that. But not only that, but it changes directions. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Something weird's going on here. And that's what people are just, and I've posted videos of this on Twitter before, and people are just like, it's like you're talking to total NPCs that don't even know how to just like look at things,
They're like, this is how it works, idiot. Look, NASA showed us this. There's this big
like,
ball and it's
I could even go. This was a long time ago, but if I were to go to search right now and just eclipse on my X account, let's see what people are saying.
So have you seen Crow 777's moon lunar wave and the atmospheric wave,
so.
whatever?
I think I have seen. It's been a while. I know that's a really good account. I've heard of it.
It's crazy how there's literally like an old VHS ripple going across the moon.
Yeah, I think.
And
I
then
have
he
seen
realized that it goes across all the planets and stars at a point.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
That's you should, if you have that video somewhere, you should pull it up, because that's another weird one, a lunar wave.
It looks
Here's
like
Cameron,
a splash
a guy I was
in
talking about
water.
before. So let's go. So here we go. This is from, when did I post this? This was like a month ago, March 18th. I say, how did a shadow covering the moon completely change directions? And the video that Cameron made here is showing the exact same thing, how it completely switches. And go down here, first comment, you gotta lie to Flurf. The arrow is causing confusion. Are you kidding me, bro? Like, what are you talking about? And people are liking this. And when you don't know what a circle is, has a top, like these people are just not seeing what we are seeing. Fuck, you're stupid. Two in a row. Fuck, you're stupid. With no other context. Like, they're just, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is just people.
They never have context. And that's the whole thing, is I literally think that people see it differently. Like, so I go back to, this is a weird thing, but like, describe the color green to me.
Yeah. It's
what is it? It's like yellow and
it's
blue.
half of
Well,
Christmas.
what's yellow and what's
Yeah.
blue?
Mhm.
So I can't even describe a color to you. So for them to say that things are all scrambled up like that, I fucking get it. I get it. But I have the Crow 777 video.
Yeah, I want to see this because it's been a while.
Yeah, can you close the other one, Ted? Yeah.
It's not letting you do anything, huh?
No.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's weird. You good, Vince? You got anything to add into here?
No.
You're
no,
being
you guys are going
unusually
good.
quiet. I
No,
wanna
but
make sure.
you guys know way more about this shit. So go.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay, so this is I didn't watch this. I'm sure this is probably the one I've seen, but I just pulled up.
Dude, this is why I love our conversations because we're basically just going back and forth. Oh,
At
have you seen this? Have you
FPL,
seen this? Have
our
you seen
teams
this?
are working every day,
That's why it's so
inspecting,
good.
upgrading, and strengthening the grid.
Here we go. Skip. All right, here we go.
That's CGI, people. If you need some clarification, it's actually not.
This is just the intro, all right?
It's not like we're watching NASA or anything.
Okay, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. I know a lot of people were waiting to see the latest filming of the lunar
Right,
wave,
yeah,
so I'm going to do that. Subscribe to me will be me to say his name. That people
let's see
coming
it.
in on the left.
Okay, look.
Now,
All right,
I'm going to make, if I get that, I will re-edit it. And insert
Okay, here we go.
Well, the guy we'll call Weg in Berlin. Let me do that. So here is the original footage in the original size. It's untouched by me. I am waiting to hopefully get the original unedited clip, and if I get that, I will re-edit it and run that for everyone. There's the wave coming in on the left. Now, I'm going to make this a bit more visible, but if you look down under the wave as it travels, you will see it traveling across the face of the moon, particularly on the second wave there. That camera pan was critical, and I'll show you in the next footage why. It proves that we're looking at a filmed event. Okay, so here we go. This is the full footage, but now I've enlarged it, and I've run some brightness, contrast, and other things to make it more visible. As we swing over to the left side of the upper limb, the wave will come in on the left. There it is.
You can see
now,
the
if you look
line
down on the
clearly.
face of the moon underneath it, you can clearly see the wave traveling. As we always see, here comes the second wave. Now, this camera pan right
trippy.
here, look, it did not affect that wave one bit. That proves that it has completely nothing to do with equipment. And at this point, we've seen enough lunar waves that those who have been paying attention and watching the evidence, we know what we're looking at here. All right, here's another view with some filters, and I tried to run it so that we could see the actual wave crossing the face. You're going to need a big screen and a good view, and again, all I have to work with here is the encoded small version, and hopefully the gentleman Weg will send me the original footage. If he chooses to do that, I will do a better edit than this. It's just difficult to re-edit it, already edited video. This is a good view. What's cool about this for me is just how close the view is and the angle of the wave in relationship to the limb of the moon. We have not seen that before. So the view of the actual lip of the moon there and the angle that the wave is traveling is interesting to me. Here it comes again on the left at even a closer view, and here you can pretty easily see the wave traveling across the face of the moon. And there is the second wave, and for those who have followed, the waves always come in pairs. That is one of the distinct fingerprints that you're looking at a lunar wave.
Yeah, I need to dig more into that channel.
And here
I've
is
heard a lot of people say he's really good.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. He's a great dude. Haven't had him on yet, but someday hopefully. But yeah, he's awesome. He has a lot of good stuff. He talks about nukes being fake, breaks it down totally, viruses, all of it. And we've had doctors on with us. How do you stand on that about the virus thing?
Though the idea that viruses don't exist.
Yes.
I believe that. I think the germ theory is a scam, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because we had Dr. Tom Cowan on, and he totally broke down all of it and how, because he went through medical school, like he knows what they taught them, and he's like, they didn't teach it, like they never showed us, like most people think, oh, I'm gonna look at this slide, there's a virus on it, I'm gonna look under a microscope and see a virus. That's not how it works at all. No one's ever seen a living virus. They only see like these things come out of viruses, the exosomes. Therefore, viruses must exist, but they've never seen a virus. They see these. It's just like space. It's the same thing. It's like inner space instead of outer space. It's
Except
just
instead of saying
all
the thing is
bullshit.
too big to see, it's too tiny to see.
Exactly. Just like atoms. It's all fucking
Right.
business.
So what
man,
about
I
the
feel like-
Gnostic shit? Go.
Oh no. The Gnostic shit. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, if we want.
Yeah, and this is something we kind of were poking at before because, and I think I mentioned this is the biggest mindset shift ever to me after realizing that the earth is flat and the sun and moon are above us, rotating above us. That to me is the ultimate proof that this is a created world. There's no possible way, there's no scientific explanation for why this sun would be up there just spinning circles and the constellations perfectly rotating. There's no scientific way that could be just random events of nature. So maybe you can cue it up the way that you want to, but this has totally sent me on just a crazy journey the last year. And what I think puts me in a good position, which is similar to what you said. You said, Vince, that you are kind of a believer that there is a God, but you don't believe in any of the modern religions. For myself personally, I feel like this is the perfect place to start, where I've been agnostic pretty much my whole life of just saying, I don't know. And I'm not going to say there is no God. I'm not going to say there is a God. I would if you put a gun to my head, I would have probably, if I had to choose a side, I'd say atheist back then. And now I know that that's completely out the window. The only thing I know for sure is that there is a God that created this place. But then the next question is, okay, what's the story here? What's the lore? Who is this God? What is it? Why did this God create this world? And I think that I am, and maybe you guys too, I don't know your whole background, I don't remember, but the fact that I don't have any emotional connection to any of these different religions is a huge benefit and a huge advantage, because everyone else that we talk to, pretty much, for the most part at least, they've grown up under Christianity or some other religion. And so they have a very strong emotional connection with that. They grew up on it. And I don't know if you guys know, JT follows JC. He's on all the platforms. He's awesome. I love him.
He's been on the podcast also.
Yeah, super awesome guy. Great content. What's that?
He's been on the podcast also. I was just saying, check him out.
Yeah. So
Our
I
episode,
did a
don't know the
recording
number,
with
but
him, I think a couple weeks ago, and I have such a backlog. I need to get it out there. But he's obviously a huge Christian. He's a big Christian. That's in his name. JT follows Jesus Christ as his handle. So, he said straight up in our talk that, like, he came at this whole thing with, like, scripture and the Bible being the foundation of it, of, like, believing that this is the word of God, this is the truth, and connecting all of the things we see around us to the Bible is what really set it home for him. And I see a lot of other people who follow me on Twitter have the Christian cross in their handle. So they are similar. That, like, to get through to them, you talk about the Bible and how it talks about the earth being flat. And then that's what helps them connect it. But for me, it was the opposite. It was seeing the world first, and the fact that the Bible confirmed it was very interesting. So we have this book, and this is another thing we talked about last week, how the Bible clearly has profound knowledge in it and wisdom in it that is far beyond any of these fake science textbooks. So this needs to be noted, but I'm not quite ready to say that this confirms Christianity is true, because there's still other layers to this. What do you guys think?
Can I ask you, why didn't you believe in God when you were an atheist? Like, what was...
I would just say I didn't have any of these things that really, like the sun and moon thing, that really were something I could really lock in and say that proves it. That makes sense, you know? I like the whole evolution story was just enough for my fluoridated brain to say, okay, that makes enough sense for me to say it, and all the smart people are saying it is what it says in the textbooks, and they must be right, so okay. And all the dinosaurs and the evolution and the Big Bang, all that stuff. And this is the thing, is that like I was a total normie growing up, as I mentioned on the last episode. Most people are, and they just their consciousness, and I know because I've been there, their consciousness is just in a low enough state to where we just accept these things that don't really have a whole lot of evidence that actually is strong, and we just go with it. So for me, I was just pretty much going with the flow and going with what the experts said. That was all it was. I didn't do any research on it. I just believed all the documentaries in the National Geographic and the Discovery Channel with the freaking globe spinning around. My grandma and grandpa always had Discovery Channel on at their house. And it's just that you can't escape it, man. In the corner, it has a little globe spinning the entire time. So just hundreds of hours of Mythbusters, and you're just watching the globe the whole time in the corner. Like,
did you ever have the? Because when I was an atheist, I had this question because I wanted to believe in a God,
so
but
you
I couldn't.
Were you a full atheist? Like you just believed there was no God? Okay.
Full atheist, and I hated religion, and I still kind of do.
Still
but,
do in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, in a different way. But I wanted to believe in a God, but I was stuck with the question, if there is a God, who created that God? And who created that God? And you know, that endless...
It's like the Russian doll. There's always a bigger God.
Yeah, and this was actually a clip that we made when I was a guest on Ted and Bill's phone booth, the previous phone booth, you know, when I don't know how much you know, but there was a different crew of people on phone booth. Anyways, so, but then I realized that, you know, God does not live on, I don't know if I've told you this, but God does not live under a beginning or an end. Like there is no markers for God. So therefore, nobody created God. God has always been.
Yeah,
God
time is just one of the dimensions in this material world that we work with. But outside of this, it's totally different.
Yeah, God has made this realm for us where there is a beginning and an end. And since we're in it, that's the only thing we understand. So we try to apply that to the creator. It's like, who created that God? And who? That's because that's the only thing we understand within this realm.
Mm-hmm.
But when I realized, of course, God has no beginning or an end, then I was like, okay, there is a God. That's it. That's all I needed to know. That was it. Yeah, that's it. But with that said, I don't need a fucking book to tell me that it's retarded to kill, rape, steal, and violence and all that shit. I don't need a book for that. If you do, something's wrong with you, my guy. I'm not talking to you, but like in general, like if you need a book to tell you that.
And you're referring to just like all the
any
religions
books
that all have their book. The, you know,
yeah.
the Bible, the Torah, the Talmud, or whatever.
How am I wrong in this? I did not read any religion, and I understand those things. Like,
well, for me, the thing is that the question I have is the creation story, because that is what I want to know. Like there had to be some objective truth there, and there's so many different ideas for what it could be, and the question is, which of these books has it right, or do they all have little pieces of it, or you know,
well, you gotta have some
wrong?
truth.
And could every single one of these religions and all of these books just be like a karmic retribution thing, where the fact that the Bible has a lot of truth in it is them telling us the truth similar like they do through the movies? And could that be the case? It's possible.
I just think it's so easy and convenient that we can just go to a book and then just have it all figured out for the rest of our lives. Like, if I just follow this book, I got everything covered. That just sounds too easy for me.
Well,
and it also sounds like I have to follow a program.
Yeah.
Well, it's not impossible, but is that why we're here? Like, all right, you get free will, jump in here, but follow that book instead of figure shit out on your own.
Yeah, you have to worship this guy.
Yeah. That sounds weird to me. Yeah, you got your free will, but follow this shit. Okay.
Yeah. And this is where the whole, obviously we're referring to all of them there, but Christianity specifically, where the weird thing, like I've gone to church with many friends before, and when I can't help but just feel when I'm in there just kind of absorbing it. I did it just a couple of months ago with another friend when I was in Seattle. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading the Genesis story. It's very interesting because now I know that a lot of the stuff in there is talking about the firmament separating the waters and talking about certain things. Like I know a lot of this stuff is actually true now, so I'm more interested. I was kind of just sitting there reading this book most of the time, but the whole time, like the whole place is like singing these songs together and just yelling about stuff, and it feels culty. It's hard to not say that it kind of feels like that. And everyone's going to call things they don't understand a cult. Like people call flat earthers a cult, So that's not like something to discount it, but I got that vibe of like people, everyone in here is repeating what they've been told since they were born because of this system that they're in. And it's fascinating because I know more about the world and the creation story than a lot of them, even though I haven't even read the Bible cover to cover. Which is something I need to do, but the fact that I've gone down a flat earth rabbit hole and now like understand all these things it's actually saying about the world, like these people don't even know that. So, and I have a couple Christian friends who are very dialed in on a lot of this stuff, and they are at that high level of thinking like, okay, yeah, the church has been subverted in some way. And they still believe in Christianity, but they're like, okay, there's some serious things have been changed here, manipulated. And I can kind of see them going through the steps of questioning more and more and more around it. And I do have one friend even who he did some really intense mushroom trips, and he came out of it kind of believing more about the Gnostic story as a Christian. So he's thinking more about Gnosticism now because his takeaway from this mushroom trip was that we are all fractals of God. Like we all contain the divine spark inside of us. And that anytime you talk about having power inside yourself, Christians start to like turn off from that. They don't like to hear that because you're supposed to be worshiping Jesus, And so to me, that raises a little bit of a red flag. The fact that like according to their gospel, it says you cannot feel empowered yourself. You need to like worship externally. That seems a little weird, especially when there's certain scripture, like even looking straight from the Bible, where Jesus talks about how the power of God is within you.
Yeah.
So there's things like this that seem to be very Gnostic. And also another one that is interesting is how the Old Testament God and the New Testament God are completely different seeming entities. Where, and just to give people sort of a review, Old Testament God is a huge asshole, basically just smiting everybody everywhere, just killing everybody, flooding everybody, burning everyone. And then the New Testament God's a totally chill guy. He just loves everybody. And so
no, it's okay now. You're all good.
Yeah,
do whatever
like
you
forgive
want.
everyone, love everyone. It's all good. And so Christians don't really have a very satisfying answer for why that huge change would happen. But the Gnostics think that the Old Testament God is the demiurge, and the New Testament God is Jesus coming down from the true God in the monad, who is coming down to basically deliver this message that this isn't the final stage, that there's a true God out there and the material world is actually a prison made by the demiurge. But that's a whole, we didn't even give like a full 101 if we want to get into like what is Gnosticism actually believing.
We need some backstory. Yeah,
you just looked it up. So do you want to start with just that? You want to read that off for us?
Yeah, Gnosticism is a diverse 2nd century religious movement emphasizing gnosis, secret esoteric knowledge, as the key to salvation rather than faith alone. It posits that the material world is evil, created by an ignorant lesser deity, the demiurge, while human souls contain divine sparks trapped in physical bodies seeking release to return to the true spiritual God. Gnosis. Should I read them all? There you go. Dualistic. Hold on. Gnosis. Salvation through direct inward experiential knowledge of the divine, not just through faith in Jesus' resurrection. Dualism. A sharp divide exists between the evil material world and the good spiritual realm. The demiurge, the creator of the physical universe, often viewed as a malevolent or ignorant lesser deity distinct from the true God. Divine spark. Fuck.
Yeah, just pretty good summary, I would say.
So why is that ignored? Like the First Testament or whatever, the Old Testament. Why is that?
One of the big questions is, what is the true history here? I know they slapped a date on it there, and everyone has a different view on what things happen at which dates because it's so hard to know. Like, there's so many lies in this game of telephone of history. But from what I have researched, my personal, I don't even want to call it a conclusion, but I guess we can just only call it a view or a perspective, is that Gnosticism was like the original Christianity. Like, that is older than Christianity. And modern day Christians today will say, oh, it's heresy, it's heretic, it's new age nonsense. But I think that it was actually the original, and the Catholic Church came in and swatted it out and got rid of it because they want to bring people into this church system that has a more controlling mechanism to it. A lot of stuff, and I should have said this at the beginning before we even get into this conversation. I am completely clueless on all this stuff. I'm just learning here. This should be obvious from hope if anyone who's followed me. I'm brand new to this stuff, and I'm just trying to look at all the different pieces. But it is very interesting because Gnosticism does answer some of the questions that Christianity doesn't really, because Christians say that this world is created by the perfect God and everything's perfect. Then why is there so much evil in the world? Why is there horrible things, kids getting cancer, people getting genocide everywhere, all this horrible evil stuff? The Gnostic answer is simply because we are within there's a hierarchy of gods. There is the one true God of everything at the top, in the monad, they call it. The pleroma is the word that they have, is like this highest spiritual realm. And the one true God rules that world. And then there are layers underneath that of other gods. And one of the lower tier gods is this thing called the demiurge, which created this world, this physical world, as kind of a mistake. Or the demiurge thinks that it's the true God and it made this world and it's the God of everything, but it's kind of this game of ego where this second God created this place and it's imperfect, so that's why there's all this evil everywhere. But it also has a big part of the real God, which is why there's so many beautiful things about it. You know, I'm laying on the beach this morning, sun's out, eagles flying overhead. It's gorgeous.
But isn't that a result of dualism? Like, to have horrible shit, you have to have the opposite. So if this is hell, maybe it still has to have beautiful things in it, because there just has to be these two things all the time.
And another angle of the Gnostic speculation, and this is all coming from just like I've been watching these YouTube videos before bed every night, just like these Gnostic videos that are kind of just explaining the theory, and I just find them interesting and good to go to sleep to. Another thing that they sometimes believe is that they believe it could be a prison planet. Like this whole planet is made to basically trap us in. And then there's like the whole Loosh farm theory. I'm sure you've heard that, where like the whole thing is just a soul farm to basically just grow all these humans like cattle, and just so they can just have our soul energy, which is kind of dark. And certain parts of this Gnostic side have like a darkness to it, where it's not, you don't want to believe this is true, that this is like a false god created this world. And some even say that the reason why it's so beautiful and nice in certain ways is because it was created like a zoo, and this demiurge wants it to be really nice, and it doesn't want the inmates to want to escape it, so he makes it look nice just so we can stay here and just be chill and not, go through this gnosis process of realizing that we have the divine spark within us to pass these tests by the archons, which are basically the Matrix agents from that movie. And speaking of the Matrix movie and other movies, there are so many movies that are just full of Gnosticism themes to them. And one of them is The Matrix, which is one that people kind of, a lot of the truth seekers see, and they just think like, oh, it's like, you're breaking out of your headspace of believing whatever, and that's kind of it. That's the analogy. But when you actually look through each of the little pieces of the movie, it's a total Gnosticism movie where you have the oracle is this feminine figure who represents Sophia in the Gnostic story, which is like I forget. I think the story is the true God created Sophia, and Sophia created a demiurge, and the demiurge created this world. There's like a whole tier list to it. It's kind of confusing, but the Matrix agents are like the Archons in that movie. The Archons are the foot soldiers of the demiurge, basically, to keep everyone here fooled and believing that this is all there is, when really we have a divine spark within us that it is our connection to the pleroma. And the Gnostics also believe that that's what Jesus came down to relay the message. So they do believe in Jesus. Gnostics believe Jesus was a messenger from the true God.
Oh. Maybe he's coming back.
This material world is not all there is.
You cut out for 10 seconds, Ben.
To get back to the true.
Ben, you cut out for 10 seconds.
Oh. Can you hear me again? Am I back?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
You got me? What was the last
go
thing
back
you
like
heard?
10. Fuck.
Did I talk about Jesus yet?
Yes. Jesus
yes, you
came
said
here
they believed
to
in Jesus. Jesus came here to tell us, and then you.
Yeah. So the Gnostic version of the Jesus story is essentially that they believe Jesus was he did exist. He was a messenger from God. Well, I guess that's the difference between the traditional Christianity. Christians believe Jesus is God. Gnostics believe Jesus was a messenger that came down from God in the pleroma to tell all of these people here in this demiurge prison planet to basically teach us that we have the spark of the true God within us. We need to use that to get back to the spiritual realm, to escape this material world that the demiurge created as a soul prison. So lots of interesting ideas, and at the very least interesting. I just find it all interesting, and I'm kind of in that phase right now.
We have about 3 minutes left. I just want to ask you then, what do you think
It's super
happens
easy to wrap all this up.
when we die?
All right.
When we die, what do you think happens? Yeah.
3 minutes. Go.
That's a huge, awesome question, and I literally do not have an answer. I don't know, but one of the things that I think is interesting is how when you hear all of these different close to death stories or coming back from the death stories where people are, they drowned or something and they're resuscitated later and they come back and say what they saw. They talk about seeing the light. And some of them claim they've seen their loved ones and they've seen all these things and they've seen a tunnel with warmth at the end. Yeah. Now,
if that is a trick or not, who knows?
That's the question. That's the question that I think is a big one. Is that a trick? Is that a trick to get us back into the reincarnation hamster wheel, and it spawns us right back into another body here? And if that's true, is it a good thing? Like, if we did a good job with this life, do we get an upgrade? Like, do we get into a spiritually higher body in the next life, like as a reward? Or is it just a complete trick and we're supposed to turn around and go the other way? Like in
nobody
Ready Player
dares.
One. Have you seen the movie Ready Player One where they start the race and he figures out that the key to this race is you throw it in reverse and you go backwards? I think that might have been, that's one of my personal random theories from that movie, is that could have been symbolism for
But are you going to take the risk? Are you going to take the risk to choose the dark side?
Exactly. Because it's meant to be scary.
What's more fucked up than any of that is that we could have all already been through this and we wouldn't even know.
Oh,
we don't know.
We could have gone through it thousands of times, and we are just the newest flesh suit body.
Fucked up.
Yeah, we're just the newest flesh suit body that of soul that has failed thousands of times, and we just keep going through the hamster wheel and of the reincarnation cycle. But the whole topic of reincarnation is a super fascinating one that we don't have enough time to even touch on. I have a friend, Seb Bunny, I talked to when I was in Canada recently, who has literally been deep into this one, and he had his own personal experiences of having flashbacks from previous lives, and I need to bring him on and just have him explain it. But The whole reincarnation thing. I 100% believe that is happening and has happened.
Maybe we could have that for the next time. But before we go,
Yeah.
I just want to say, regarding the loosh thing, if that is true, that they're sucking our negative energy, then that would mean that if we can, switch our energy to positive energy on a bigger level, then that would starve these entities, right?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what exactly their fuel source is, if it's only negative or if it's positive too, and we're just fucked, and like whatever energy we create is just
then it's
harvesting.
fucked.
Who knows?
But if it's only negative, then...
My comment on that would be, if it was positive energy they could harvest too, it would be easier to just make the world all positive.
True.
They're making it negative for a reason.
That's a good
point. So they need that negative energy, and
So-
we're trying, because our go-to is to like try to be positive. At least most people. I'm gonna try, but you feel it pulling you down. You're never the other way. Today I'm gonna be a fucking miserable fuck. You know that? I mean, some people maybe, but you know what I mean. Like, I think they have to need the negative. And that's why the news is always so terrible. And
So then
that's why
that
they have
means
nukes and
the
viruses.
opposite of that would fuck with them. Like, if we could switch that, then they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's honestly the first thing I did when I found Flat Earth was change my whole perspective on everything, and like started looking at trees differently and every animal I
Everything is
loved now. And I was like, oh, listen how the wind hits the leaves of this. Like, everything was different because I knew it was all here for a reason, and I want to know what that reason is. And now I'm paying attention. So
it's like after you go down a flat Earth rabbit hole, your brain upgrades to like a permanent state of being on shrooms a little bit, because everything you look at is like, this is here for me. This is part of me. Because you can't help but know that once you go down this path.
And that's what
why
the
I love
Globies
talking
use
to-
against us. Yeah. Go.
That's why I love talking to people who are newer to it like you, because it does, like, I'm 10 years in now. So it does get hard to like remember that original spark of like, I appreciate grass and dirt now. Like, oh my God, I'm going to hug a tree. Like, I don't care if I'm a hippie, I'm going to hug a tree because I'm grounding now. Like, all those things.
That's like level 1 hippie, dude. I sunned my balls for like 3 hours this morning. That's where
I
we
was
need to
gonna
get
bring.
to level.
I was gonna bring that up. We got to go 5 more minutes.
We can
so,
do a whole episode on that. Just about
sun
how
your
awesome
balls. It
Sun
raises
your balls.
testosterone, right? Where do you do
Dude,
that? It's
so
okay to
good for
do
you.
it.
It's the healthiest thing you can do for your body. Hopefully most people by now that are listening have gotten through this ridiculous psyop that the sun is bad for us.
Yes.
It literally creates all life on Earth. Things grow from it. It gives you sustenance. It injects vitamins straight into your body. And studies have been done that show that the sun's light penetrates through your skin a few inches. It goes into your body because we have a porous body, and it upregulates the organs that it contacts when it goes through your skin. So it literally is healing the inside of your body when you're out in the sun with your shirt off. Even if you have your shirt on, it still penetrates. But it's best, obviously, the less you're wearing. And obviously, if you get the sun on your most important reproductive organs, it's going to be amazing for it. It's just going to jack up your testosterone, like you said. It just helps everything move better. And like I just splay out butt naked out on the beach when I can find a good private spot, dude. I've gotten pretty good at setting up walls of logs around, so I can have my own little private.
Watch
zone.
out for people with cameras. Yeah.
I've gotten pretty good
whatever.
at just have a little spare towel next to you can throw over and like have a second if you need to.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not worried about someone seeing me. I'm worried about getting in trouble and the cops trying to come and fuck up my whole nut sunning thing. You know, like if they want to take pictures, let them fucking take pictures. But
but they're gonna post it on Twitter. Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, not my balls, but in reference to the sun. So I used to wear sunglasses all the time. I worked
me too.
outside most of my life. I always wore them. I was like looking into it, and I was like, I'm going to stop wearing sunglasses. I'm done. I don't get sunburned anymore. Like, I don't get fucked up because, I don't know if you know this, but your pupils tell your body how much melanin to put into your skin. So when you wear sunglasses, your eyes think it's dark, and they don't release the melanin that protects your skin. Stop wearing them. Not only that, my prescription on my glasses improved when I stopped wearing sunglasses. They got better. And at first, yes, everyone's like, I can't do that. It's so bright. Yes, when you first stop, if you wear sunglasses all the time, when you first stop, everything's fucking, bright. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm never like, oh, I wish I had sunglasses, like ever, because I stopped doing it. Just like sunscreen causes skin cancer, not the sun. All of those things. It's the reverse of what they tell you. Always.
But have you looked into sun gazing? Speaking of the vision aspect.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm going to be doing that tonight.
Definitely.
It's a beautiful day out. I know a great spot out on the beach I'm going to go sit on. And so apparently the last 30 minutes has 0 UV. So you're totally safe to stare straight at the sun for the last 30 minutes of the day. I'm even safer than that because I want to be really safe with this because I haven't been consistent with it mainly. I've been more consistent with being able to get the sun balls for a while. So, dude, I can lay out there for hours and I don't get burned. Like
no burn at all. No ball burnage.
I literally the first time I saw my balls, I did 1 minute. And I just worked myself a tiny bit up. And I think that's the smartest way to do it, honestly, especially if you're
like sun gazing.
Exactly. For all of this sun stuff, you want to really start small and be safe with it and work incrementally and listen to your body.
The best example is you don't give a jalapeno pepper to a baby.
Yeah.
You work them up with spicy food, and then as they grow up, they can handle a jalapeno. You got to work it up.
And I can see the sun right now where it's at, and it's pretty bright looking at my eyes. Like I'm feeling the instinct to close my eyes when I look straight at it like that because it's still pretty high in the sky. But when it's sunsetting, like when it's coming down close to the horizon, you can stare right at it. It doesn't hurt. You don't get any of that instinct. That's your body telling you it's okay. So
is that because it's further away and it's not as powerful?
Part of that, partly the atmosphere, and I'm not an expert on exactly why, but all I know is that the UV, which is the thing that can damage, like you don't want to try to stare at the sun in the middle of the day at noon.
Yeah.
Especially not if you're not used to it. Some people claim that that's fine too if you've worked your way up to it and they're doing that. I don't know if I ever will do that. I just want to, I'm going to be really safe with it because I have really good vision and I'm a little bit paranoid about it because I want to keep it that way. Yeah, I want to keep it. Like I've always had incredibly good vision and I want to make sure that stays that way. So I'm trying to learn about all these things, but I would recommend people just start with a tiny little amount and just play with it. And because I've seen stories of people, you talked about improving your prescription just from getting rid of your sunglasses. I've heard people having huge vision improvement by just doing the sun gazing thing just for a couple of minutes during sunset. Where start with 10 seconds, like I said, like when it's right on the horizon. Like I personally start right when the second the sun touches the horizon, that's when I just start staring it down all the way down. That's when I do it because I've worked my way up to that. If you're starting out, maybe do like 10 seconds or something, call it a day. And another thing you can do when you're warming up is like look in big circles around it and kind of just like work your eyes around so you're not staring right at it, but you're kind of getting at different parts of your eye. A lot to explore, and this is one that you want to research yourself and not take my word for it because I'm certainly no expert. And you can do it wrong and hurt yourself. So just be aware that this is like a powerful tool that can really be helpful for a lot of people, and I have seen it be helpful.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't have enough time to go super deep into it. I'm not an expert anyway. So.
But sunning your balls, that's
I consider myself more of an expert on ball sunning because I've done that many times.
Maybe we should name this title sunballing. Sunballing. What did you call it? Sunning your balls.
Sunballing and loose farming.
Yeah, we have to change the title, but we will. It's fine.
Sunballing.
Yeah,
all right.
That's one,
but we got
sunballing.
That's one I literally. If anyone out there has just a good private lawn or somewhere and it's sunny where you're at, you have to get into this. Man or woman, doesn't matter. It's good for everybody.
Well,
work your way up. It feels incredible.
Punani.
Sun your labia, not your balls.
All of it, yeah.
All of it.
Like I said, the sun penetrates your skin, and women have a whole ecosystem inside your body down there. So you want that to be as healthy as it can be, and the sun literally heals it up. So
also, we want that to be as healthy as it can be. So
of course,
that too.
And we want
so maybe next time.
No
we can talk about
sunglasses. Get
yeah
sun
next
everywhere.
time we can talk about reincarnation and shit like that. But
yeah, I'll have to do some research first. But yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I feel like we can dive into anything together. We'll do it again. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
So go to phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. Check that out. And also go to canambullion.com.
Canambullion.
Oh, yeah, go. Yeah, go. Go, Ben.
Canambullion.
Yeah, what are you doing? What do you do there at canambullion.com? What do you do, Ben?
Buy yellow rocks and some silver.
Okay. Yellow rocks.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yes, you buy that.
That's what big
Yellow
call them
rocks.
derogatorily.
Called gold. Yellow rocks called gold, silver, platinum, and bullion. Huh?
It just updated. Everything went up. It updated. Everything went up.
We're
right
rich.
there.
It went up.
It
went up. Yeah.
Bullion.
We are now rich again. Okay, so yeah, go to Can Bullion, buy your gold, silver, platinum bars and coins. Great stuff. Canambullion.com.
Bullion.
.com.
.com.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Love you guys.
Peace out, everybody.
See you later, bros. This is great.